Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. Yes, we're back, and we're back with Mr. B and Bath Time, and we've got a very sensitive subject we're touching on today. So tune in. How you doing, guys? The Man United Agenda, and welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you press the like and subscribe if you don't mind, please. Yeah, we are in the Christmas festive period now, and games are coming fast and furious. We're the holders of the League Cup, but we're out. They're playing tonight. I think it's quarterfinals, and we're playing at the weekend, aren't we? We're playing against West Ham, who seem to be on good form as well. So plenty to look forward to over the coming days and week. Big up to Mr. B. Welcome back. You missed the show yesterday, but you're back today. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to get my teeth stuck into the topic of the day.
Topic of the day. We kind of kept this a surprise. We're not going to reveal it just yet. Bath time. What's going on? How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm having some bad memories today because part of the news that we're probably not going to cover is that Dan Ashworth or whatever has been linked to us as a sort of head of football recruitment, and that man turned me down about when I was about 14 or 15, and he was the academy boss of Peterborough United, and I'm sort of looking back at a life I could have lived if he hadn't basically sent me to the young farmers.
Wow. So the guy we're linked with for sporting director was once scouting you.
Yeah. He's obviously being from Corby. I'm quite near Peterborough, so I went around the whole circuit, and only one team picked me up, and they were non-league, and I'm not even sure they exist anymore. But yeah, Dan Ashworth was the head of he was the head of Peterborough United Academy that I tried to get into when I was like 13 or 14, and I got a big no.
Well, at least we know he's a good judge.
Very good, Omondi.
I'm messing. I said character, what ability? I know you've got ability. I want to say hi to Niall Kane. He's in the house. He's saying, big up, lads. Have a great Christmas, bosses. And a thumbs up. We're all bosses, I imagine. Yeah, we're all bosses. I like that one. Big up Niall Kane. Again, he's saying Mr. B not messing about, wants to get stuck in and get his teeth into it. No doubt about that. Early doors football TV.
Hey, early doors. When have we got West Ham? We got West Ham on Saturday.
It's coming up this weekend, yeah.
Early doors. What you doing Friday? You want? Let me know if you want to come on the takeaway, big man, and I'll get you I'll get you all hooked up. West Ham supporters, proper cool, good, proper cool dude, man.
I'm kind of scared of West Ham fans. They call it the Firm. Their crew is called the Firm.
Is it the Intercity?
Nice to you.
That's back in the day.
What are they called?
Intercity.
Yeah, they used to go
like Hornby trains. 125. Big up all West Ham fans. I got a friend who's a West Ham fan as well. He gave me tickets once for Man United West Ham at the old Upton Park, and I was in the West Ham end, and we won, and I had to keep my mouth shut because I was honestly West Ham fans are scary. When we went recently, we went to London Stadium. Me and Errol, a couple of years ago, we used to go record outside the game, and I'm like, put my head down, like when I see these big Essex boys with their sort of Umbro shirts and the type typical. I thought it was just like in the movies, but these guys are hard looking and scary. So I don't mess with any hammers or ICU boys.
Was Solo just running around like? What would you two have looked like? You look like Shrek and Donkey. Solo just yabbering away.
I tell you. What were we thinking though? To be fair, why the hell would we put ourselves through that?
It was a risk. It was Solo's idea. Remember that. It was always Solo's idea.
Yeah, look where he is now. He's left us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what did he have you doing?
Well, we were doing, because we're based in London and we had a connection with Jay Motti and all that. So we said we'd cover all the London games and help you out. Because they had a reporter, a girl called Kirsty, who works for Stretford Paddock. and she used to do the London games as well, the away games. So we ended up working with her, going to all the London games for Man United away days, and working with her, helping her set up, and being there as a sort of bodyguard as well, in a way. And we did it for a whole season. But what we didn't realise is that a lot of fans, when you come out of the stadium, imagine going to, you know, she just lost, or somebody's, especially the Manchester fans, the United fans, they're always peeled up, or they're taking narcotics or something, you know. So yeah, you try to sort of stop them for a chat. They're looking at you like, "Who the hell are you?" You know, especially with a London accent and that kind of thing. So it's a bit dangerous, a bit risky, I think. And I remember, I'll tell you a funny story quickly. Oh, no, I'll leave it. You want to hear funny?
No, go on.
Oh, no, they're going.
There's no news.
So yeah, we had a few, you know, close encounters, and we went to the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge, and we were with the girl Kirsty. I can tell this story now without any worries, you know. We were this girl Kirsty, and we set up outside Stamford Bridge after the result. I think it was a 1-1 draw, and everyone came out. So we're trying to stop people, and they're all nice guys going up to people. "Oh, you know, you Man United fan? Do you want to have a chat with the agenda?" And trying to get people over for Stretford Paddock as well. And these guys come over, and they didn't have they just had tracksuits on, and the three of them started talking to Kirsty, and they started getting a bit rude. And in the end, they zipped down, and they were all Chelsea fans, and they started like taking the mickey, saying, you know, I'm not gonna swear, but they were saying, you know, F United, that sort of thing. And Kirsty went mad, and you know, like when a woman goes mad, and she can't beat them up, and she'll probably look to you to beat them up. You know what I mean? You know, I'm like, Kirsty, you know, stop. But I was like, yeah, you understand? Right? And Errol, I don't know where he went, you know. But it's just like that. It could have just switched. And the problem is, when things like that, you never know where people are coming from. You know, so you can get involved in something, but you just don't know who they're with. And next thing you know, you're getting like bottled and all this kind of thing. So I'm not down with that. The only time I feel safe is when I'm with Mr. B, because when we went to Manchester for the 5-0 loss. No, I'm going to tell this story as well quickly. We went to Manchester and we were filming outside. Imagine it's bad timing. We went to Manchester when we lost 5-0 to Liverpool, and we were filming outside. Bad timing, I know. So we're asking people to come, "Oh, yeah, what do you think of the game?" And they're like, "Fuck you," all this kind of thing. And some guys came and tried to sabotage our whole setup and, you know, grab phones and rip up our mics and all that. And Mr. B, thankfully, come along like a little scrappy do, stood in front of them, said, what? Yeah. Got involved, and like, it was just, all I remember is Mr. B just came in front of all of us, said, "What?" You know, wanted to have it with like some Man United fans. And luckily they backed off, because they looked into his eyes and thought, "Okay, this guy is serious." Anyway, enough about that.
Oh, little Godsuki, Mr. B.
It was a classic, guys. If only we had that on recording. Anyway. We're wasting time here. Big up to Early Doors. Hopefully we see you on the show. Come on and join us, guys. Early Doors. And let's talk football this weekend. Big up Rebel as well. He's in the house. He said not just Martial, he needs a P45. He's going to let us know Early Doors saying here. Big up to Matthew Bassett. How you doing, Matthew? Hope you're doing well. Biggest transfer mistake was signing Phil Jones, says George Kyle. George was really active yesterday. Thanks for all the comments. At this time, we were linked with Raphael Varane. At that time, we were also linked with Varane, says George Kyle as well. Just running through. Got Stephanie Griffiths in the house as well. She's naturally always trying to big up the likes. Thank you. Appreciate that. And we can get on with the show now. That was the intro. What's on the agenda? What's on the agenda? There's 16 watching. Make sure you press the like button for us, guys, if you don't mind. So, yeah, on the agenda tonight, I'll start this off and pass it on to you guys, because you guys know more about this. But you might have seen the thumbnail. We're talking about Martial, Anthony Martial. He's been in the club a long time. And yesterday, I mean, it was really significant for me, because I heard some more damning evidence against him based on his character, about Mourinho, sort of kind of indicating that, you know, he was a troublemaker and shouldn't be at the club still, that kind of thing. So we're going to talk all things Anthony poker-faced Martial today. Someone that Mr. B admires as a footballer. But I don't know how we're going to feel at the end of the show, Mr. B, whether you will change your mind about him. But yeah, let's get started into this. So what have we got? Have we got any graphics or anything to sort of go with?
Well, we should probably give a bit of context first.
Yeah, go ahead. Over to you, Bath Time.
Reports have come in that Fenerbahce are looking for strikers, and at the moment, United we've basically got a fire sale going on in it. We're trying to get rid of Sancho, Martial. There's rumours that we want to get rid of Varane because of his contract is running out in the summer, and for financial fair play, that means that we get the majority of his transfer fee able to spend again. So because we went out of Champions League, we're looking to get money. And Martial is, we're trying to ship him out in January. So I thought tonight we could sort of like talk about his legacy. Was it 50 million down the drain? Like, was he a huge... Yeah, was he a huge disappointment? Like, did United fail him by never really getting him in a position? Like, was he good? Was he bad? It's all about Anthony Martial, Amondo.
A whole show on Anthony Martial. I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I suppose we start, Amondo, with like what we all think of Martial. Me and Mr. B love him, but what do you think?
Right, Anthony Martial. I remember him playing for Monaco, and he played out wide, hugged the touchline, and all reports were that this is a new French sensation. Someone who could play out wide, end up probably being a striker. And the first thing came to mind was Omri. Okay, we got a new Omri, and we missed out on him last time. Let's get this Omri in. And I was happy with the signing when he came. And also, Mr. B will add this, because Mr. B always tells this story about how in his contract he's got a clause that says he wins the Ballon d'Or. Imagine that, but how confident would you be? Yeah, throw in the Ballon d'Or as well. Give me 5 million extra in the Ballon d'Or. And you're, for fans, you're thinking, all right, we're on the up here, and it seemed like a good sign at the time with add-ons. There were so many sort of add-ons with that deal, I remember. But what got me is that obviously I'm going a few years into the future now. Suddenly, Monaco brings through this young player called Kylian Mbappe. So they sold their young star Martial to us, knowing that like 2 years down the line, they had a youngster called Kylian Mbappe, who probably, I don't know, is he double the player that Martial's turned out to be? In his young age, he proves to be fantastic. Anyway, I don't know with Martial. I think this is what, 10 years in or something like close to that. He's been there a long time. I think he's flattered to deceive. Flattered to deceive. That's the right word, isn't it? To say it. Yeah, flattered to deceive. I think he's really let me down because he's poker-faced. I want to see more passion, and I think he's talented. I'm not denying that he's very talented. On his day, we've seen some good things from him, but it's just not consistent enough. And I think if you ask him about value for money, I'm like, nah, man, it hasn't worked out. And I just want
you say value for money. 50 million. I mean, we didn't pay 50 million for him. I know they say that they always give us the maximum, but
yeah,
that's 5 million a year. It's not bad.
But what has he won? Is like in the last 10 years we haven't won anything. So any player can improve. You have to really
blame Martial for that.
Scrutinize them.
You're gonna blame Martial for the fact that we haven't won anything for the last 10 years.
Yeah, we haven't won. We haven't looked that good, and we haven't seen anyone play consistently good. So I can't look at him and say he's a good signing. He's. And the thing what's doing it, maybe I'm being sort of influenced by what happened on yesterday's show. Go and check out yesterday's show, by the way. But Mourinho came out with some comments recently, sort of like blasting United and basically saying there's players at United who shouldn't really be there, got a bad attitude. And I think he's pointing fingers at Martial. There's a number of things going on with Martial, But for me, I want to know what the comments think. But for me, it's like, nah, he didn't cut it. And he should be disappointed with himself. You talk about seize the day and having motivation, but I think when you give young players, he was 19 when he came to us, that sort of deal, I think he sort of plateaued and thought, well, I've made it, I'm getting paid. That's the attitude with his face. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but I just feel like, nah, man, you have wasted your whole career at United, a big club, and not really achieved much. That's my views on it anyway.
Okay, well, look, while we are talking, we can have a look at his everybody can have a look at his stats, to be fair. But yeah, you can carry on talking on Monday and say how disappointed you are with Martial. I mean,
Yeah, I got a question for you, Monday. If you're rating our signings on like being successful, if they've won something or not, does that not make Maguire and every other signing a flop at United if you're just going after trophies?
Yeah, what I would say is this. I think after the don't try to piss me up. You know I love Maguire, but we have to question every signing since Ferguson's come in, because we haven't won a major trophy since 2013. It's 10 years now. It's the decade of misery and disaster. And so every sign that comes in, if you come in with a big name, it's just not worked out. You look at Di Maria, he came in and he was a top player, playing for Real Madrid, winning Champions Leagues, didn't work out. You know, you look at Varane and the players we have now, Casemiro. There's question marks about them. It doesn't seem to be working out. Something's wrong at Man United. And there was a comment the other day. Who was it? A footballer said that, or someone said to Rio Ferdinand. He wouldn't name who it was, but Rio Ferdinand was talking. He said a footballer said to him, "I wouldn't go to Man United because if you go there, you end up flopping." And there's something wrong in that club. The club's cursed. And that's the feeling by footballers. Don't go there because it's a graveyard and you're going to get pelters for nothing and end up winning nothing. So I think you have to judge by what he's won. 10 years, hasn't won a major trophy at a top club like Man United. Where's the impact? And this is someone who's always been in and around the first team. And look at this is great for great timing, by the way, great graphics, because we can look at his career at Manchester United and goals and contributions, what he's made. In 2019, 2020, he had a great contribution in the Premier League, 17 goals in only 32 games. That's the kind of consistent form I would have loved to have seen over and over again every season.
Who was he playing? Who was he playing with? Who was he playing with in that season? No, somebody in this.
That was COVID season. So that's
Greenwood.
That's Greenwood and Rashford, where they all got over 20 goals.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only seasons that Martial started as a central striker. Because I think what Amonde said is interesting about players coming in and flopping and stuff. With Rashford and Martial, we never really found their position till much later in their career than you would expect. And Martial had to bulk, because you're right, he started as a left winger. He won something called like the Golden Boy, or it's incredible to think.
That's the one that Bellingham, is that the one that Bellingham's just won?
Yeah. So what we're talking about is when we signed Martial, he was probably the best forward in his age group in Europe. Like that's essentially what we can take from that award. And we saw that wonderful goal against Liverpool where, was it Skriniar or some bold bloke that he twisted up and sort of rolled it like Henry into the corner?
Is that that's the first goal he scored, isn't it?
That's his debut. He came on as a sub.
Debut, because
FA Cup.
Yeah, I know we were playing Liverpool because I was at my clubhouse, and up until this day, the guy still says he hates me and he hates Martial for that. I ran in his face. Like I ran across him. I slid across the floor like this,
like Martin Keown.
Yeah, I went straight ahead of him in front of his wheel. Got a big 75-inch projector screen football. I will never forget that. Like that to me, Martial could do nothing wrong for the next 4 or 5 years. And now I'm looking at his stats. I think I was blinded by that one moment of magic. Flipping, he's been shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like Makeda, isn't it? He scored, he did that lovely turn against Villa, and you always remember him with fondness. But I mean, what did he do with his career? And maybe this is the point: is that Martial had to bulk up to play centrally. You need more muscle and stuff like that, and it means that you can't. It means you can't be as effective out on the left wing. So we wanted him to play as a sort of central attacker, and then. Think of the players that we got in during that time. I'm not sure, but maybe Falcao, definitely Ibrahimovic.
Because he took his shirt, didn't he? And made him sulk.
Yeah, Ronaldo, Cavani. all these players came in for his position, and we trained him up so that he couldn't really sort of play out wide. And I think that Martial, I don't think anyone questions that he's an extremely talented footballer. Like, I would go so far to say that he's probably got more natural skill than someone like Salah at Liverpool.
Yeah.
All right, Salah is obviously a better player. That's not what I'm saying. But with Martial, I think that he points out this malaise that's been at the club where players like Rashford have not developed to the next level, and they don't seem to have that fire to be able to sort of bring themselves from a top player to a top player. And I think that it's a combination of the club and of Martial's lack of fire. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you'd sent Martial to a different club, you'd see a very different player at the moment.
So once again, it's about his character then, about motivation. No one's denying talent is there, but some things he must be disappointed with himself, even though he must be a multi-millionaire now, as we're saying here.
You think he is? You say he must be. I mean, I don't know. He's had the opportunities on Monday. He's had more. Look, 10. Look at his 10 years. You look at it, give or take 10 years at our club,
coming up for a testimonial,
and you don't score 100 goals as a striker. You don't score 100 goals.
He wasn't a striker though, was he? Initially, he came as a wide man.
In 10 years on Monday, would you have expected him to have scored more than 100 goals?
Yeah, 100. Oh, definitely, most definitely, as a forward. When you look at the numbers, that like you're saying, going back to 2019-20 season with Greenwood, Rashford, and Martial, they really done well, and that's what you want to be seeing from a front three. This season, we can barely get 4 goals out of our front 4 combined. So something's not right.
Have I told you my theory on the COVID season on Monday?
No, well, maybe you have. Can I hear it again, please?
Everyone, so the whole country was locked up in it. And like the footballers, I personally think they did a great service going out and playing football, and I really enjoyed it. Like being locked in a house in Wales, being able to watch telly, but they didn't have they weren't able to go to clubs. All they were able to do was go to training and play matches. And in that period of time, we saw the best form of Martial and Rashford. And I've always thought it was because all the distractions were removed and all they could do was play football. And because of that focus, we saw their best performances, which makes me wonder about their professionalism, to be honest.
Well,
that's deep. I wouldn't have thought of that. I would never have gone that way. But I mean, you could be right. So what's Rashford's excuse for last season and this season then?
Well, last season was good for him with numbers, didn't he? Score 30
he was streaky last year, though. Like he had a good definitely a good 2 months. Player of the month twice, but at the start of the season he wasn't very good, and he tailed off as well. Like Rashford's always been a streaky player, so I just always think that was like what we saw in that season from Greenwood, Rashford, and Martial was just the product of them only caring about football. And then when, the doors open up, they can go out and publish their books and like go to clubs and all this kind of stuff. And the focus is lost because literally all they had, they were like us when we were 9 or 10. Like all we had was football. We used to live like Native Americans. You didn't look at your watch. You looked at the sun. And you knew that you still had a couple of hours of football left, like that. What comments saying on Monday?
There's loads coming in there, guys. Some really good comments at the moment. Keep them coming because I think this has stirred up a lot of feeling from Man United fans. Big up Zoe Media House. Just sent a tweet in time. So I just sent a tweet of all the Man United goal scorers and Martial 17th. Stephanie Griffiths, how you doing? Martial tipped by Tony Omri. Monaco was happy to let him leave because they had Mbappe coming through. That's Matthew Bassett. Martial won the Golden Boy Awards, as you guys stated earlier. Martial clear Mbappe in my book. This George Kyle. Whoops, Terry Henry. Big up to Solo. Solo, I think Solo's a fan of Martial. How you doing, Solo? Our scouts was told about Mbappe but decided against it. Says
Can I cut in here, Omondi? Everyone knew about Mbappe.
Okay.
Like when Mbappe was 15, Arsene Wenger turned him down because Mbappe's dad was trying to get a house and 2 million. Like everyone knew about Mbappe. It wasn't a mistake to not sign him. And I think that I think Monaco, because that Monaco team was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Fabinho, Silva, like there were so many good players in that team. I think that they would have really liked to have kept out hold of Martial because they knew that Mbappe was off. He was always going to be a superstar. So I think that's a bit unfair to put it on our scouts, Matthew. But big up the kebabs, Christmas kebabs.
Rushmano, how you doing? He says lots of injuries and distinct lack of effort at times. Yeah, I agree with that one. And obviously, Stephanie Griffiths tell us about the likes that we need to be pressing. Matthew Bass is saying it's 36 million with add-ons, so it will go up to 50 million.
Yeah, see, it's 36 million. Less money. Does that make him better value, though?
How much has he earned from the add-ons then? Do you think?
Not a lot, to be honest.
I think we paid 36 million for Martial.
Because you like those performance-related contracts, don't you, Mr. B?
Yeah, it's an incentive. I do like it. You know, if you've got a wide man, don't give him no goal bonus for goals. Double his thing for assists. That's what you want. Okay. That's what you want. That's what you want them to be, assisters. Don't want them to be caring about scoring goals. Be unselfish.
Like you were saying yesterday in the comment, you want an unselfish winger or wide.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Zoe Media has saying here, true stats, Martial and Rashford are Man United's top goal scorers for the last 15 years since 2010.
Sorry?
Well,
what was that stat?
So Martial, since 2010, no one scored more goals than Martial and Rashford. Obviously, we've had strikers come in, have good seasons, but Lukaku got a few, didn't he? He had a good goal rate. Matthew Bassett said Martial was disappointed. So much wasted potential. We asked the question. His stats hurt my eyes. Remember Tony Martial mainly because of the debut goal. We talked about that, didn't we? In the semi-final and the winner against Everton in 2016. George Carl saying 2019-20 season Martial won Player of the Year at Man United. Patrick, how you doing, man? Always look forward to your comments. He said Martial was a case of love at first sight for United fans. His entrance versus Liverpool in September 2015, coupled with his start that season, meant we thought we had a budget to start on our hands. Really good comment there. Andrew Williams saying Martial hasn't broken a sweat since 2021. We deserve better. How you doing? I used to feel very animated about Martial, but I'm exhausted. Whether it's this club or Martial, I feel really lethargic about the whole affair. You can get a feel for all the comments in here. Andrew Williams saying here, crap as wingers because they don't create, but not good enough with the back to goal as a number 9. So 2 positions that he's played at our club. I don't see, is that right? I don't care. I don't care what anyone says, but Martial and Rashford both carried this poor team since they burst on the scene. Fans have short memories, total over 200 goals between them. So Zoe did tweet that out earlier. So it's good timing, Zoe. More contributions from you. Big up DK Wilson, by the way, who's in the house. I want to know what you think about all this. Andrew Williams saying he had 14 assists in 10 years. You were saying, Mr. B?
I tell you, Andrew kills me, man.
TK Wilson was going to ask Bathtime for the 1920 context for why we did so well, but he did respond to that. He gave us your speculation as to why during that COVID season these free players were flying. A couple more before we go to the next subject. Andrew Williams saying, I would love the Tombstone. Okay, this is a wrestling move, by the way. Tombstone Martial, headlock takedown Rashford, and flying elbow for Greenwood. Andrew Williams, I suggest I'm going to make a claim here. You watch Troops on Akinwadi. What was his name? Who's the big, strong?
Akinfenwa.
Akinfenwa. You watch Troops use the exact same lyrics as that on Akinfenwa's show yesterday. You're copying Troops. Now, that is low. Do not follow that guy.
I'm just impressed that Andrew thinks he has the physicality to pull all of those things off.
DK Wilson saying, sounds bath time. It's definitely a good explanation as good as he's heard. Talking about your reason. King T'Challa. He said, I'm president of Martial FC. Okay.
He's a king and a president.
Yes. He says, let's not act like he hasn't been the biggest flop of the club. He has given us moments, similar moments to what Rashford has given us as well. So to put him in the same box there. Keep them coming, guys. We will... A couple more here. Sorry, they just keep flying through. More on bath time's assertion. Outside distractions and big money have ruined many athletes' career. And I want to say hi to Boomhauser. He says the King makes a good point about the players dealing with so much malarkey from upstairs as well. Great comments, guys. Thank you.
I've got a question for you, Amondi. Like His Majesty President T'Challa brought up, let's not act like this is the biggest flop that we've seen. In terms of strikers at United, who would you and the comments think have been bigger flops in it, right? Not going back to the 70s, Amondi, from 1992 onwards. So sort of Bebe, Falan, Falcao, maybe. Players like that. Like, where does Martial sort of rank on ineffective strikers, basically?
It's difficult when you say strikers or forwards. Forwards today, these wide front three could be all classed as forwards if they're playing like Liverpool's front three with Salah and Mane and with Firmino. They all got goals. They did it once with Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford. A good season with good output. I would call Martial a forward or a wide forward. To sort of judge him on goals, I don't think that's a bit unfair. But if you're talking about biggest flops,
What? It's unfair. He's a striker on Monday.
He's not a striker. He's been a striker for 2 years.
Okay, and you don't judge him on goals.
I don't think so. No, I don't think it's fair to judge him that much on goals. Firmino didn't score that many goals either.
I know Firmino got 9 goals and 2 assists in the season that Liverpool won the league.
But there you
it's
go.
One of your better points.
I don't say he wasn't contributing. He was contributing to their style. You know, I just think so. When you're looking back, I remember Dion Dublin had high hopes for him. Obviously, broke his leg early on and never came back because they bought Cantona. And then going, I thought Brian McClare came in and scored like top goal scorer, and then never really, scored that many goals again. We struggled for a long time to have a goal scorer over 20 goals. It was George Best, I think, in 1969 or 68.
Look, too far.
Oh no! Let's make this point. George Best scored like 20 goals in 1968 or something. It took until Brian McClare came along, like 20 years later, for us to score 20 goals again in the season. So when you go, and then obviously we come into the 90s, most of the strikers there were successful. I think even Ollie coming off the bench was successful. We won everything in the 90s. In the 2000s now, if you're looking at about disappointments, I would say Weghorst has to be up there. I would say Bebe as a forward. Someone which is still comical the way we signed him from a VHS tape or something, or a recommendation from Carlos Queiroz or whatever, so some sort of backhanded deal. I don't know, but those two stand out for me as big time failures and more of a failure than Martial, who is clearly a talented player.
What about like Falcao, Lukaku, the big two, Alexis Sanchez, Angel Di Maria, and then like. I mean, Nani was a wide player, right? Who probably has a similar sort of goal record to Martial.
Nani's
sorry?
I like Nani.
Yeah. I mean, like if we'd put Martial in a Ferguson team, do you think he would have lasted 2 years?
Mr. B?
Jesus Christ. No, but then maybe Fergie would have got the level that we expected Martial to be. Maybe Fergie would have got that out of him.
I mean, Jose couldn't. I think Louis. It was a Louis Van Gaal signing. They're good managers.
Talking about Jose, he wasn't his favorite, was he? Where is our Hold on, it's this one.
Oh,
look, yeah, obviously, he had issues with he had issues with Jose while he was here as well. Do you want to?
Okay, so Jose fallout. Obviously, you've got a big interview about Jose out in the moment. I'm sure you guys have heard some sound bites from that. So Jose Mourinho confirms Anthony Martial was fined after leaving Man United pre-season tour of the US of A to attend the birth of his son. So he's fined for that. Anthony Martial upset Mourinho when he left Man United's US tour. Martial flew to Paris to be with his partner for the birth of their son, Swan. Okay. Isn't that some tobacco, smoking tobacco?
That's a picture of him for you there, Monday.
With the gloves.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Who named their child Swan?
Well,
I bet someone's a big fan of matches.
Oh, my days. And you got fined for it as well. Jeez.
I mean, even that. I mean, I'll be honest. I would be fuming if I got fined for attending the birth of my child by my manager. I really, really would. I think that's disgusting. I don't care if I've got 50 kids. I don't care. If I want to go and be all right, you know, you don't want 50 kids a month, 50 kids a season. But you know, if you've got but if you've got, all right, for 3 or 4, then yeah, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem at all.
Do you not think it's Jose picking a fight?
And that's what he did.
Yeah,
he did. But did he pick them to test players' character, or did he do it?
If it was if Martial was playing the field and he did have enough kids out there, would it be a flock of swans? Is that how you term it?
It's not a flock. It's a flock of geese. What's a swan? Guys in the chat.
The collective noun for lots of swans?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've always really disliked swans. They're really sort of like stuck up and arrogant, and like I don't like them. Like look at Swan Martial there. That snide little look on his face.
You know something? One of my friends I met one day, and I'm not going to name names. So he's known to a couple of guys on this channel, but walked up to him. He saw him at a football match. Yeah, how you doing? Blah blah blah. And his missus just went to get a hot dog or something, and he gives it. He said, "Oh, how's the relationship? How's the kids?" We were saying to him. He said, "Yeah, living a swan life." I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Yeah, from the outside we look majestic and cool, but underneath we're, That's what you said. That's what you can't see." So,
here you go. Look, swans. Look, here we go. It's called
a bevy.
Is that right?
Bevy. See, and we're gonna all say it's a bevy, and he's gonna be in the chat pissing himself. It's not a bloody bevy.
Nah, George is a Google boy. He'll have instantly gone on and looked that up.
Thank you.
But you said about testing players. Like there's something that a manager that I had in Chile used to do to us when we got new players in for pre-season, especially with defenders on Monday, he would constantly give decisions in practice games against the defenders to see how they reacted.
I beg you for Craig down his comment, please. I'm on there.
So Craig, big up Craig. How you doing? I don't know who your picture is.
Not that one. It's not that one. It's this one.
Oh.
It's this one.
Did you know the swan is the only bird that has a willy?
I don't know.
Fun facts. I don't know.
How's Craig? I hope that's not from experience, Craig. Don't go near swans.
Welcome to the show, Craig. Oh, Lord.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
I was talking about my old manager winding up defenders.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because it was to see how they reacted, when things weren't going their way, and it's something through sort of old friends and people who went on to higher levels of football than me. That a lot of people have said that's how you test players, is that you just bully them in a training session one day and see how they react. So I think that Jose isn't testing Martial. I think this is one of Jose's little traps where he wanted, who was your man? Ivan Perisic. He wanted Ivan Perisic in, didn't he? That's right. I think that he was trying to engineer Martial's removal from the club. And he's not the only one that did it. Ragnick sent him out to Sevilla, and we've got a story about Ragnick somewhere.
Today, is it positive?
No.
Here we go.
Oh, no wonder.
Is this the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, another fallout. Andy Martial hits out at Ralph Rangnick's claim he refused to play for Man United. Oh, I do remember this. Rangnick claimed Martial refused to play for Man United in their draw at Aston Villa, and the Frenchman hit back. He said Andy Martial has denied Manchester United manager Ralph Rangnick's claim that he refused to be included in the matchday squad for the Premier League draw versus Aston Villa. Rangnick said after the 2-2 draw that Martial, 26 at the time, had declined the opportunity to be named in the squad in the absence of injured duo Marcus Rashford and Cristiano Ronaldo. Just before midnight on Saturday, Martial posted on his Instagram story, "I will never refuse to play for Manchester United." In response, "I've been here for 7 years and I never disrespected and will never disrespect the club and the fans as well." So that was a bit of a back and forth on Twitter, wasn't it? I remember that. I do remember that now.
I wonder if it's still up. Like, he certainly didn't apologise, did he? Like the way they asked Sancho. But is everyone just talking about swans, or have we got anything about bigger swans?
They've gone crazy now. God. What have you started, man? What have you started, man?
No, this was Craig.
Oh God, yeah, it's DK, the man, the sensible man from the States, says it is a bevy. That's right, a gaggle of geese and a bevy of swans. I would never have got that.
No chance.
Yeah, God,
no chance. So we drifted off.
Going back to the Rangnick thing. I think Rangnick was the first. That's why I like him. He called him out. That's why Martial had to come back and say, "Oh God, I can't save face with the fans. Let me say something, put something out there to say I would never disrespect the club." You know, he doesn't want to lose a pay packet at Man United.
Do you think he refused to play?
Yeah, of course I do.
Really?
Yeah, I think Rangnick's got no reason to lie. Rangnick came there and realised there's some bad things going on at his club, and he tried to call it out, and that's why it didn't last for him, because
he lied a lot, Rangnick, though.
But you're talking about he's lying about maybe
recruitment,
style of thing. When it came to football and footballers and highlighting what's wrong with our club, I don't think he lied, and I think he was right to call out.
Do you think it was more likely to have been a miscommunication than a lie? Because there was that. Who was Chris Armas?
Yeah.
Aramis.
Yeah, like Ted Lasso, they used to call him, or whatever. I mean, it sounded to me that it was a complete, like, it was obviously, like, he spoke to the medical staff or something like that, and they said, no, Martial doesn't want to play or something. Like, I suspect it was something more along the lines of that.
Very good, Craig.
Yeah. I quite like it on a day where there's literally no news that it's descended into talking about Todgers for swans. Shout out to Andrew. He's a Swansea fan, isn't he? He must love swans and know all about this.
Oh God. Definitely Griffiths, good one.
Swans will drink port or something really pretentious. I'm not.
So is the evidence piling up here with what we're seeing here, with all these slides and all this information coming up, that maybe Martial, apart from seeing him on the football pitch, there's something wrong with his attitude? And what
attitude?
Yeah.
Is that because he didn't smile? There was a problem with his attitude. Because he didn't give interviews, there was a problem with his attitude. Because he didn't do sponsored video. Not sponsored videos. He's not sponsored, and he doesn't go out there promoting his brand. He's
he's a shy guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just not sure that's his. That it's in his nature. Obviously the football side of it is, and that's more the part of it that I'm disappointed with. He should have been, to be fair, probably should have been gone maybe 4 years ago. We kept hold of him.
Winners medal from 2018.
No, he wasn't in the squad. Didn't he get injured?
No, he got dropped.
Oh, was he? Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Like, I mean, I remember going to Fulham, like during one of Ollie's, like in like that crazy run, and Martial, I swear to God, you can go look it up on YouTube. He scored a goal like Thierry Henry, beat 3 players, and put it in the bottom corner. And I think that Mr. B, you'll say he should have gone 4 years ago or whatever. But when that COVID season and like the lead up to Ollie getting the job, he was absolutely brilliant, and he shouldn't have been sold. It was like one of his sort of big problems seemed to be his pride, where Ibrahimovic comes in and he gets the 9 off him. Ollie gives it to him back and he does well. And then the Ollie dream of Rashford, Martial, and Sancho comes, and we're finally ready to see it. And Ronaldo comes in, and there's no way he's getting ahead of Ronaldo. So I always wonder if
but Cavani was there as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I really like Cavani until his second season, like where he just decided he wasn't going to play anymore. But
yeah, but I think he got stitched up in that
Cavani?
one. He was, yeah, he would have been Cavani. He was, you know, he had the shirt. He was guaranteed to be the first choice, and then Ronaldo comes in. I mean, he obviously knows he's not going to play ahead of Ronaldo. So yeah, I think he jacked it in. I think he jacked it in as soon as Ronaldo signed. He said, "Forget it, I ain't going to bother."
Yeah, I agree.
But we do have like we probably should have brought this up earlier when Omondi was talking about how you don't need to score goals and stuff like that to be helpful for your team. But I did find this from last season, where when Martial was on the pitch, he made a big impact. Like despite the lack of the goals, the team scored more goals, won more points. Like, Mr. B, you're amazed by this, aren't you? And I showed this to you 20 minutes ago.
75% win percentage with him playing. 2.3 points per game. That's huge.
But did he
I know you know my memory's not good. Martial wasn't any good last season, was he?
He did all right. We came
more than bloody all right.
We came third in the league, and you know,
I don't remember Martial being a big. I wouldn't have said Martial was a big reason for that.
Well, if you sort of think back to Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo was always going to occupy the central area, and I'm sure if Zoe's still around, she'll know where I'm heading with this. Bruno,
I love Andrew Williams, man. I swear to God. Coincidence.
Well, you know, but Bruno, like the thing about Martial is he's dropped deep in it, and then Bruno would run on ahead and things. And I always felt that Martial was a better fit with Bruno Fernandes than Ronaldo was. In the same way that I'm not quite sure how Bruno and Rasmus work together, because they both do the best stuff centrally. So Martial, I felt, was an unselfish player, and he had like 2 attributes that were great. One is he was our best player at winning free kicks. If you boot the ball up the pitch with De Gea, like Martial was most likely to get his foot to chest it, get his foot on the ball, and get a free kick. And the other thing is that he linked well with players. Like Paul Pogba's best form was at left wing for United, in my view. And a lot of that was because he could trust Martial to not lose the ball and get it back. Like Martial just played football very simply, and I think that really helped us out a lot. He allowed us to attack the channel. The ball stuck to him. I feel that I really wish Martial had become the player that I thought he was going to become. He's got everything. Like, he's even decent in the air.
Well, fair enough. I mean, this data doesn't lie. But what it does show, again, is that he played 12 games and then he missed 17 when he wasn't there.
I suppose if you look at it like that, yeah, you look at it like that. Jesus. Oh,
you need to get partnerships going. You need to get familiarity. You need to, people are going to be consistently being playing in the first team week after week. You know, it's not good to sort of change a winning side. So Martial, he probably plays one good game, say, right, I can kick back now and you're going to miss me or something like that. But there he is in the picture, wearing his gloves, just like his son, Swanee.
Was it? Who did he score against recently? Was it Everton?
Yeah.
Done nothing since then.
He didn't do anything before then.
Yeah,
I think it's a raw deal because he scored that goal against Everton. Everyone was saying, we miss Martial. When he's not there, we miss him. And he comes back and scores a goal. And, we miss him. And in the following game, when he played, everybody was like trashing him. I think it was in
He was
Europe.
rubbish on Monday.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, how can you go from 1 week saying, oh, yeah, look, Martial, we missed him when he's not playing. Then he gets to play the whole game, next game, and everyone's trashed him completely. Even everyone in the comments, even on the channel as well. We all did it.
Yeah, his touch was off because I think the next game was it not Galatasaray?
Yeah, it was something.
And Rasmus started, didn't he?
I think he started a game. I think it's a game he started after the Everton thing. He started a game. I think Rasmus got benched and he started and he didn't play too well.
Yeah, Rasmus played the last half an hour.
Yeah,
it'd be brilliant if any of us had a working memory for a couple of weeks ago. Like, I can't remember. I don't even know what day it is, to be perfectly honest. 19th, maybe.
Yeah, it's the 19th today.
Yeah, 19th.
I suppose then we should ask the chat to just type acceptable or flop for Martial's time.
We might get one. We might get one acceptable. I think everything else is going to be flop.
Shall we tell them how to spell acceptable?
I can't spell.
All right. So what is it then? So if Martial, look, we tried our best. I mean, this is a long summary. We did say it's going to be a quick summary, but we've given you the whole sort of this is your life of Martial at Manchester United Football Club, even including like all the speculation about the stories about coming flying home and getting fined, not wanting to play, loads of stuff that we've dealt with about Martial. What guys, just to let us know, is he a flop or was he acceptable with the money we paid for him? Value for money. Already they're coming in. I can see George Carl's coming straight away, and he said it's acceptable. That is acceptable.
I'm sure he's not flop. Just telling us how to spell.
All right, yeah. Could be. There you go. Comments. If you want to spell it, there it is. Question for us before we go into that. DK Wilson's asking, question for you, Free. Would Martial be good starting and playing on the right wing instead of Mr. Left Foot?
He wouldn't do the work.
Would he even agree to play there? So would he, instead of Ante, would you play Martial? Would that work?
Well, I always remember, like, when Carrick took over, we went away to Seville, and we had Ronaldo, Martial, and Sancho, Matic, Fred, and McTominay as like the midfield and the attack, and it worked beautifully. Sancho and Martial worked so hard for Ronaldo, and I thought that was going to be the blueprint going forward. So I think Martial could do the work. He was always really diligent about cutting out passes to the pivot in particular, which is so important. But I just think that I love Martial. He's been my favourite player for years. But when I think of the talent he had, and then you see the lack of application, the lack of fight, and the fact that he just seemed to give up with Ibrahimovic and Cavani and Ronaldo and never being consistent, I think I've got to put him in a flop. And it hurts me to say that because I really, really like Martial.
Mr. B?
Well, I had him as my Twitter avatar for, I think, 7 years. So, yeah, it burns to say, but I'm going to have to agree with Bathtime. I mean, 10 years and 100 goals all right, he's not a striker on Monday, granted, but he's an offensive player. He's not a deep line midfielder. He's not a left back. And even his assist numbers aren't great. So for 36 million, the only 36 million we paid for him, yeah, I'm going to say I couldn't even say he's flattered to deceive. He's had moments, but those moments have been less than enough. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say he was a flop for me, to be fair.
You know what? I agree. I just think in the words of Mel and Kim, he ain't ever going to be acceptable. But it's true. You guys summed up really well. When you look at the talent, look at the ability he's had, I just think he's flopped, and he should be disappointed with his career. I think in years to come, fans won't be worried about him or respecting him in any way.
Mm.
He's not really performed. He's not really giving that sort of effort. I can't have it. I can't have it from him. So he's never going to be acceptable, Mel and Kim. He's going to be a flop, in my opinion.
Oh man,
Hurts,
I was hoping one of us was. Yeah, you know,
It's unanimous.
yeah, and the more, you know, obviously you see the stats and you think, okay, and then you try and think of games where, you know, he was, and we all go back to the debut. We all go back to the debut. We don't go back to anything else.
Or the COVID, or like, you know, against
COVID,
and
COVID
Villas and things.
But then
like,
Liverpool won the league that season, so I'd rather not remember the COVID season, to be fair. Oh, Anthony, what have you done, bastard?
All right, let's have a look at it. No, it's time. It's time for everyone in the comments to say that they were right and we were wrong about Martial. Let's take our medicine, Mr. B.
Yeah, I think
NHS time.
All right, so Stephanie Griffiths is saying flopping acceptable. Andrew Williams saying 10 years in and we're still saying SHIT like this. So obviously that's a flop. Big up to Hydro. How you doing, Hydro? You're just jumping on now, but great to see you. King Tashala saying here, Martial is as big a flop as every other member of the squad he's been in the last 8 years, no more or less. So he's sort of defending him in a way. Jarley's in the house said, talking about the game, we're title holders still up until next February. King Tashala saying, bath time, your words disappointed.
Your Majesty, I apologise.
You've been summoned to the king to apologise. Yes. Weeds Bet said Martial was not the problem at this club compared to the other frauds that's still here. And Zoe Media House says Anthony Martial is better than Anthony and Sancho. That's a good one. Good question. Anthony runs and works. Anthony says Andrew Williams.
No, he's saying Anthony over Anthony Martial. That sign means bigger than, better than.
Okay, it's bigger. Is that bigger? Is it the same size?
It means like you see the little chevron. It means greater than.
Anthony better than Anthony. Yeah, it's Anthony. Don't forget.
So who's
Anthony is the Brazilian. He ain't got no H in his name.
Is Brazilian, yeah.
Yeah, he said the Brazilian Anthony is better than Martial.
Oh wow. Wow,
that's
a mathematical sign, isn't it, to say greater than?
Yes, on Monday.
No, I'm asking, I wasn't sure what you're Oh dear. All right, quickly, let's wrap this up. You don't have to add Ibra, Cavani, Ronaldo with their price tags being too expressive. Take your spot and feel good about it. I get how Martial feels slighted. That's from DK Wilson. Zoe Media House is saying here, but he tries. Is the fundamental issue in our fan base. It's like, okay, if a player tries, etc. Bruno, go back to Bruno again.
Yeah,
it's treason as Martial is not Messi. Here we go. Andrew Williams, finally, he's calmed down. He's saying, I like Martial, but minimum, unless you're Messi. So there you go. We finally got a response.
He's calmed down.
Stephanie Griffin saying Martial and Craig, Andrew have increased our knowledge of the Swans, though. Yeah, we've learned a lot today. You know, you don't lose, you learn sometimes. And yeah, I've definitely learned a lot about Swans tingling. Jaylee saying here, so it is the bash Martial night tonight, says Jaylee. Can't bash the Iceman himself. On some days, Martial is king on the field, but most times he does not show up since he's like Holland. We have no service as well. So a bit of defence by some of the guys.
Just to say that Harley's sort of come in with no context is that me and Mr. B have been Mr. and Mrs. Martial for like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of news tonight. So we thought we just have done a retrospective on Martial's career based around the fact that I wanted to find a picture of a swan with some gloves on 10 minutes before the show started. I think we've been fair with Martial tonight. We've talked about how he had to sort of change his physicality to play in a position that we bought in very expensive older players for, that he was like the best at his age group in Europe. like that he's a wicked finisher. He's got a finish for every occasion. Like, was it Norwich where he like just chipped the ball for the near post over beautiful finish? And like in some ways, like everyone else, the club has done him down. I think that Alexis Sanchez is the standout sort of flop for Manchester 100%. United over the 10 years. And that I just think that I feel really sad that it's not just the club, it's also Martial. He had all the talent in the world, and when you're saying about like lack of service and stuff like that, he had look at players like Kane playing in different teams and things like that. Martial had such soft feet that he should have been able to sort of like really propel himself. And rather like Rashford, he just stagnated, and we had to make excuses for him. You know, some of us are still sort of making excuses for him now. But I will always love Martial. Like, I don't know why, but it's a bit like the way Omonde is with Jadon Sancho. I could have changed Martial if he'd come to live with me and gone on my runs and done lots of tactics. I could have made him into the man he was meant to be.
So it turns out, after all that, he's not a swan, he's an ugly duckling, according to the panel. Yeah. So JD said here, Martial got a swagger about him. He reminds me so much of Romario, the way he finishes the ball. Okay, it's good. When you were saying that, I was going to say, no, he's not a good finisher. But yeah, he's got a good variety. He can dink the ball, he can slot it, but he can't header. I don't think he's a good at heading the ball. Andrew Williams saying, soft feet, soft great, probably in the top 10 inches. Is he still 27 years old?
Yeah, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Wow, maybe he's got his best years ahead of him. So, sorry, just quickly, bath time, Mr. B, you saying that his contract runs out in 2024, so this June. In a couple of days' time, at the end in January, he'll be able to speak to other clubs, won't he?
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like it's the end of the road.
Yeah, he's gone.
It's where he goes. I find interesting. Like Jose once like made a prophecy, as he tends to do, and he said, "Look at where these players end up after Manchester United." Yeah. And I mean, Martial, he did. I think he did better at Sevilla than has been reported. Like he didn't score a lot of goals, but he was all right there, I think. But it's. Is he going to go to a sort of mid-table top 5 team? I don't think any Premier League team is taking him.
I think he's out of the Prem. I don't think he stays in the Prem. I don't think he stays in the Prem.
What about Galatasaray?
Well, yeah, that's where he's been linked to. And
really?
It's Fred
side.
Yeah, Turkey, isn't it? Like it's just another one of these things about like. I wonder who else at the club, like where they're going to go next. We all think Rashford is nailed on somewhere like PSG or somewhere like that. But in 5 years, where's Rashford going to be and stuff like this? And I just really hope that when the Ineos boys come in, and we're putting far too much pressure on a bunch of mid-level managers like that guy that turned me down at Peterborough United. For anyone not watching, I've got PTSD today because our new director of football turned me down when I was 14, Peterborough United, and you can tell I've got over it really quickly and easily. I also don't like that comedian. Like, what's he called? The one with the teeth. Not Jimmy Carr, but something like that.
Alan.
Yeah.
Alan Carr.
Yeah, his dad.
Okay.
His dad was head of youth recruitment at Coventry City, and also wouldn't sign me. So I hate seeing him on the telly as well. Oh.
What were you like as a child after? Were you a nice kid? Why is it you getting rejected all this time?
I was small with an enormous ass even as a child, and I wasn't very powerful. So I was technically pretty good, but you could just run me over. Like you could get any clobber in, and they'd just be able to run through.
So there was actually a reason why you weren't picked then, bath time. That you actually understand why you weren't picked.
Yeah, like
so they would do their job.
Yeah, but not very well. Like I'd have been a credit to both of those clubs.
Oh God. All right, Darius Ducker.
Look, I run around like Beyonce, I'll have you know.
Oh God, we got Turkey, we got Swans, and now we got Darius Ducker as well. It's the bird show, the bird pun show. Any more bird puns, guys, before we sign out?
I can't think of it.
We got to wing it and get out of here. No.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Is that the best you're going to do? I was trying to work in a way of like one swallow doesn't make a summer, but I couldn't think of any way of doing it that wasn't homoerotic. So that's it.
All right, all right. We haven't got any bird puns. Unless someone's got some in the comments. We're going to sign out very soon. Though it was all about Martial today. It's a unanimous decision. We all felt that his career has been a flop at Man United, but we still rate him as a player. Just very disappointed with what's happened over the last 8 or 9 years since he arrived from Monaco for £36 million or whatever it was. Guys, one swallow doesn't make a wife, says Andrew Williams. No. Oh God, yeah, of course. Oh no. Whatever happened to that? Advertise it. False advertising.
Apparently, Eriksen's back in training, and that's the news for today.
And the Swans got an Eriksen.
Oh God! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Let's sign out. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we will be back tomorrow.
Don't forget, guys. As said earlier, we got a special guest, a West Ham firm guy. So don't mess around with Mr. B's mate. ICU, is it? ICU? ICU? Is that what they called the firm?
It's time to end the show, Amondo.
Yes.
Okay, it's time to end the show. Don't forget, coming this Friday, we're going to do a preview on West Ham, and hopefully we get the points there. But we'll be signing out, Mr. B, Bath Time, and everyone in the comments. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Later.